So just think about this. Why is gold going up? Is because the central banks, like the Chinese central bank, Japan's central bank, they're dumping our treasuries, our bonds. They're dumping our debt to buy gold. Good morning, Robert Kiyosaki, the Jet Radio Show, broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, where it's either heaven or hell. It's getting close to hell right now. It's getting hot. And so don't anybody tell you it's a dry heat, but it's hot. Yeah, I still love living here. Our guest today is a longtime friend, 30 years, Ken McElroy. And the reason Ken is not only a friend, but if you're going to be a rich person, I mean, really a rich, successful capitalist entrepreneur type, not a wussy 401k IRA type of guy, you have to have a team. And the essential part of my team is Kenny. And the reason for that is real estate is probably the trickiest part of of the asset classes. And the reason for that is real estate's about leverage. So that's when, and I shouldn't say all these things, but Dave Ramsey talks about live debt free. The reason you want real estate is for the debt. I mean, who else is going to lend you so much money? You know, they're not going to lend it to you on your good looks. So you got to show them some property. So Kenny is an essential part, but the problem with real estate, as you may know, you might be able to manage one or two, three or four properties by yourself, for a single family maybe. But Kenny and I are now into the thousands. And when I met Kenny 30 years ago, I was so impressed because he's a professional property manager. So not only is it real estate, but you have somebody who understands the property management side. And since then, Ken has gone into development, and we have literally made millions together and pay no taxes legally. So I'll say it again, as part of your team, but if you're one of these little wussy 401k guys, I would tune out right now because this will disturb you. So Kenny, welcome to the Rich Dad Show, and we're going to talk about your upcoming event called Limitless in Dallas, and why financial education is probably more important today than it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. I mean, holy crap. Like, I don't know about you, but it's confusing. All of it's confusing. Inflation, tariffs, interest rates, are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession? Where's unemployment heading? All of that stuff is confusing, and there's always opposing views. And so the purpose of Limitless is to settle all that down, come to a big event like that so you can ask those questions, listen to experts that have views, and hopefully some of them even have opposing views. I'm looking for a couple arguments this year. I think that'd be great.
The thing that's funny is like Jim Records is going to be one of them, and he's my hero, is Kenny's hero. And he says, you don't need to have a PhD in economics to know that inflation's eating you alive. You know what I mean? He says, God, inflation's killing us. I was out in a restaurant last night, a salad was $21. I asked the guy, I said, how in the world do people afford to eat? I mean, Ken and I make a lot of money, but $21 for rabbit food is a lot of money.
I know. I was talking to a friend yesterday. She decided to list her condo, actually, which is in Phoenix, because her HOA went up like $170 a month.
Jeez.
So like these expenses are hitting Main Street hard, right?
Yeah.
And Kathy, she's like, it's just because she rents it now. She's owned it a while, but she's like, I was making a little bit, but now with the HOA increases, I'm not really cash flowing all that much. So it's starting to really, really show up.
It's biting right now. It's biting hard. And it's not going to stop. I mean, inflation's about to take off. So all my, like I like Bitcoin, I like gold, I like silver, I like real estate. They're all going up, but inflation's going to be the lead dog in this one here. And if you're not prepared, or if you're stupid, you're going to get even more crushed. And that's why I said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I said savers were losers. I mean, I can't believe people are still saving cash when the bond market is crashing. You got to be kidding.
I know. I know. Here, I had dinner last night with Mike Maloney. He's in town. Yeah, and
That must have been interesting.
Well, he's
The angel of death there.
yeah, he is. I mean, he's one of the most studied gold guys around, right? Too. So anyway, he said something last night that really nailed me. He goes, because he spoke at Limitless last year and he's going to speak at Limitless again this year. He goes, do you know what the price of gold at Limitless was last year? And I said, what was it? He said it was in the low 2000s.
Wow.
So now it's in the low 3000s.
Yeah.
And gold's gone up $1,000 an ounce in 1 year.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you're right. Like again, but now think about if you're just sitting in cash.
And that's why savers are losers. It's not saving as bad as what are you saving? You're saving the dollar. The dollar right now, fiat currency, is just transaction, but you don't hold it long term. You want to spend it as fast as you can and get out of it.
Right.
Anyway, tell us about Limitless, because I go there, as you know, I speak, but you have some of the greatest speakers, the wisest minds of today. And most of them are pretty young. Most of them are men, pretty young men. But their view in the future is sure not what they teach at the Harvard Business School. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have a good mix, actually, of young, old, women, men. Here's the thing. The inflation, interest rates, the squeeze, the bite that everybody's experiencing today, whether you own a business or you don't own a business or everybody's feeling it, right? And so my goal was always, Robert, as you know, what are the issues that are relevant today? Like tariffs are relevant today. So we have a whole piece on that. We have a whole piece on manufacturing. We have a whole piece on the new tax bill, which by the time Limitless comes around will be hopefully approved. And so we have a whole panel on how people can legally benefit from that new tax bill. And so, the Limitless evolves based on the, whatever the flavor of the moment is. And so all the things like George Gammon, for example, will be there. He's projecting that unemployment's going to go to 10% for all kinds of reasons. Now, right now it's at 4.2. So that's like 7.2 million people. So if that happens, we're up over 15 million people unemployed. What will that do? And why? And obviously we're going to be talking about ChatGPT and AI and how, and that plays into his numbers. But we got Jim Rickards, we got Larry Lepard, we got you, we got Jeff Snyder, we got Brent Johnson, we got George Gammon. I mean, just to name a few, we got Mike Maloney, Dana Samuelson, Chris Martinson is going to be talking about the oil and gas and timber and water and all those things. I mean, it's a really impressive lineup this year. And I can't wait to hear what people have to say.
I can't wait either, because I go to them. We can catch them on YouTube. But how many people do you expect in the audience?
2,000.
Yeah. And so you're mingling with people who are proactive.
Yeah.
Unlike the average Joe, and where a lot of my family, they have no idea what's going on. They have not a clue. They want to know if they should get a 401k. I'm going, oh my God. So we're going to pay the price. I mean, each of us have family members we're going to pay the price for, because they don't show up at these things. I go to learn.
No. Yeah, the world's moving, as we all know, and you got to stay on top of it. I mean, this AI ChatGPT stuff that's actually, it's been going for a little while. This is really going to level things. I mean, we're already seeing accounting, IT, HR, marketing, legal. I have a friend that sold his legal practice. He's a syndication attorney, Robert, for years. He's almost 60, sold it. I go, why'd you sell? He goes, 5 years, I'm obsolete. Already people are running. Yeah.
For syndications?
That's what he said. He goes, all that stuff. In fact, I got a 12-page term sheet the other day. I'm working on a deal right now. I just to see, I said, I sent it to ChatGPT. I said, how would you renegotiate this? And it gave me 3 pages back. And no, it was insane. I was like, wow. And I sent it to my partner, Ross. I go, check this out. I go, I mean, most of the stuff I probably would have handled, but there was probably a third on there that I hadn't even thought of. And it's incredible. So when you start, and by the way, I would have normally sent that term sheet to my attorney, and that actually is the point. And it is really, really interesting what's going on right now. There's so much at your fingertips today that, unless you're like a real hard trade where, like a plumber or an electrician or a roofer or something, you can't chat GPT that away. Right. So that's not going to get replaced by AI, but there's a lot of people in that mid management. I think that I would say they're coming after the white collar.
Yeah, I definitely would say so. When we were at the collective in Orlando about 2 months ago, young Josh was up there talking about AI. And it dawned on me that the people sitting in the room listening to this guy talk about AI, we're all going to get richer.
Yeah.
Everybody sitting in the room is going to get richer. Then I asked the question, I said, who's going to lose? It said, anybody not here. In other words, if you're not up on it, you're going to lose your job.
No, it's interesting. Like people that just, I don't know, they put their head in the sand when it comes to technology, right? They're like, oh, it doesn't affect me.
You better explain what a Luddite is. So that's a term in economics by somebody who goes after, he or she attacks the technology that's going to replace them anyway.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I think that, I think everybody's in for, quite a wake up call here. It's funny. When you listen to Jeff Snyder, he says that we're already in a recession.
Of course.
But the government hasn't called it yet, right? You know what I mean?
Well, that's what record says. You don't need a master's in economics to know that inflation's killing you.
Right. I know. I'm really excited. We got Larry Lepard to come speak. He's got that book, The Big Print. You and I are studying this right now. We have a call on it in the morning, actually, on chapters 4, 5, and 6, and that is a fantastic book. I like what he said on chapter 5. He said, inflation. There's a human toll. Inflation creates a human toll and a wealth inequality. That's exactly what inflation does. Yeah. And in his mind, it's been built in from the early 70s.
Correct. Well, what Kenny's talking about here is every time they print this stuff, I call it toilet paper now. The rich get richer because assets inflate. So when you print this, gold and silver goes up. But when you print this, eggs, chicken, and milk goes up also. Well, I paid $21 for a stupid salad last night. And I look at the guys working the counter, the waiters and waitresses. How are they surviving? No tax on tips.
They have 2, 3, 4 jobs. That's how. I mean, it's a fact. You ask them. You next time you say how many. I've been doing that lately. You can't work at a restaurant and be solid. You have to have multiple things coming in. It's really, really horrible. And with what we think, I think these tariffs are going to really, really pound away on inflation, and it's going to affect the savers, the retirees, and the conservative earners. It just is, and that's that whole middle class. It's coming.
It's guys like us who go to Limitless get richer. And the people that stay at home, the Luddites, they get poorer.
Yeah.
So we'll come back. We're talking more about Limitless, some of the speakers, why you should go, what the price is and all this. It's in Dallas, Texas. I'll be there. Gammon will be there. Larry Lepard, who's my hero because he wrote the book, The Big Print, and Jim Records. I mean, these guys are the geniuses of our times. So we come back, we're talking more, Kenny, about Limitless, but more important than this is some people will get very rich and the poor and middle class will be wiped out. The Luddites will be wiped out. We'll be right back.
The U.S. dollar is dying, and most Americans are asleep. In 2025 alone, 11 countries have already dumped the dollar for trade. And China? They're not just talking. They're laying fiber optic cables under the Pacific to launch a digital currency system the world can use to cut America out. This is how empires fall, not overnight, but piece by piece. While average people sit on their couch watching the stock market and telling themselves it's going to be okay. It's not okay. We're buried under $36 trillion in debt. Moody's just slapped us with a credit downgrade. Inflation's still devouring your savings, and your 401k is just hanging by a thread in a rigged system. I've been saying this for years. Don't rely on job security. Don't trust Wall Street. Don't wait for permission. Think like an entrepreneur. Own real assets. Yes, I like gold. I own gold. But right now, silver is the play. Silver demand is exploding. Solar, EVs, military tech, water systems, it's everywhere. But supply drying up. And silver is still around $33 an ounce. I believe silver could hit $70 in 2025, maybe more. And if you want to wait around for CNBC to tell you that it's good time to buy, it'll be too late. So here's what to do. Text silver to 24999. You'll get my 2025 Rich Dad's Guide to Silver for free. It breaks it all down. What's driving silver, why it's still cheap, and how to buy it smart before the next spike. Text silver to 24999 to claim your free guide right now.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I want to thank my great friend, Kenny McElroy. Like I said, business and investing are team sport, unless you have a 401k. But most people have a 401k. And right now, gold is outpacing the S&P 500. I have no idea what I just said, but it means S&P stocks are not doing well. But the reason gold's doing well is the bond market is crashing. And bonds are the biggest market in the world. And those are called U.S. Treasuries and all this. And most of these stupid effing financial planners will tell you bonds are safe. How do those guys sleep? They probably wipe their butt with this stuff here too. They don't know what they're talking about. So the reason gold's going up is because the bond market is crashing. Check that out. So that's why when Kenny's here, we're real estate guys primarily, but we're entrepreneurs, and he's putting on an event called Limitless, which I'll be there. Larry Lepard will be there, George Gammon, Gem Records. I go there to learn because I don't want to be a Luddite sitting at home thinking I know all the answers, or as my brother says, I have a master's degree. 30 years ago? I had these people tell me that. I just go nuts. So Kenny, tell us more about what you see coming in the marketplace. I mean, look at office buildings. I mean, that's huge problem.
Office buildings, retail, there's a glut of overbuilt industrial. Multifamily is 20, 30, 40, even 50% off of values that were 2-3 years ago. But Robert, as you know, by the time Limitless rolls around, I'll have bought almost $500 million this year in multifamily. And so, a lot of people are pulling back, but, and you should in some cases, but this is a time when there's disruption, and there's blood in the water, and lenders are freaking out and syndicators are freaking out, and there's management problems. That's the time that you want to be buying. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. And even at these higher interest rates, we are finding stuff that's cash flowing. We think that if we can find stuff today that's cash flows at today's interest rates, there's only upside.
Yeah.
Because, you hedge the up, which means that you can't have interest rates go up. If they do go up, yours is not going to if you fix it. And then you refinance on the way down. And of course, that's tax free. So, so we're very, very excited about this repricing of real estate. Now, I'm not talking about single family. That's a whole different animal. We have an affordability problem on the single family side, which is pushing so many people over to the rental side. So it's a very, very great time if you're trying to buy investment real estate, it's hard to find. It's hard to find a cash flow, but there's a movement. There's a massive shift from home ownership to rental right now.
Yeah. I wrote about in this book here, Rich Dad's Prophecy, why the biggest stock market crash in history is coming. Came out in 2013. And boy, is it hitting hard now. And the reason I could predict this is because the real problem is our national debt. We're at $37 trillion in debt, and they're not slowing it down. And as Trump says about the big, beautiful bill or whatever it is, he and Musk had it out over that one.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's the debt's going to keep going up, and it's going to make people who work for this and save this, they're going to be the biggest losers, or Luddites. Remember, a Luddite is somebody who fights the very thing that's going to replace them. Like the Luddites attacked the car factories because the cars were scaring their horses. There's a lot of Luddites today. So that's why Kenny has Limitless in Dallas, Texas. Well, again, we'll be at. So what can people expect, Kenny? I mean, if you are a new guy, why would you come to Limitless? I mean, can a new guy have a chance to catch up right now?
Yep. Well, yeah, for sure. First of all, the people that are coming, this is our 4th year. They're doing deals. These are people that are active. They're people that see the world a little bit differently. They're coming for answers. They're coming to try to, some kind of a semblance of, what to do, what direction should I go? And that's the whole point. The network, of course, is amazing. You're going to have a bunch of people that are actually have businesses doing deals. Even first timers are trying to figure out, they're getting crushed. So, we have a lot of people. We'll have 2,000 people this year for sure, just like we had last year. And I think the reason, Robert, is because of the uncertainty out there. And so my job as the person who runs the event with Tarl is to find the right speakers at the right time for the event. And so this year, we've never had Jim Rickards. We've never had Larry Lepard. There's a bunch of new people speaking. We got Brent Johnson, who's going to talk about the milkshake theory around central banks. We got George Gammon and Jeff Snyder that's going to talk about unemployment and interest rates and what they see outside of the U.S., because Jeff's got a huge channel called the Euro Dollar University. And that's why gold's on a run. If you ask him, it's like we don't have sound money anymore. People don't like to hold on to dollars. You just talked about this. And so there's a flight to not U.S. dollars, which is making Bitcoin go up and making gold go up. And so, when something happens, something goes down, there's typically a reason. When something goes up, there's typically a reason. And so the goal of Limitless is to figure all that out.
So just think about this. Why is gold going up? Is because the central banks, like the Chinese central bank, Japan's central bank, they're dumping our treasuries, our bonds. Yep. They're dumping our debt to buy gold. And the Luddite is somebody who says, well, my child is going to Arizona State and, she's going to get a degree and, I asked Rada, I sent this joke out to everybody in our little group. There was those 2 beautiful young women, and the guy asked them a question and said, if a car is traveling at 70 miles an hour, how far does it go in an hour? And they couldn't figure it out.
And I know. How about the one where if you could take a chocolate bar or a silver bar, which one would you take? They took a chocolate bar.
Of course. But Rada saw that joke. Rada's our cardiologist. He's part of our little team here. So he said he took his daughter out for dinner. He says, I spent $250,000 on her education. And he says, I asked her, if a car is going at 70 miles an hour, how far does it go in an hour? And she couldn't figure it out. And $250,000 in education.
That's insane.
And then The Limitless doesn't cost $250,000, does it? How much does it cost to go there?
No. I mean, the tickets are less than $1,000, depending on when you buy them. Obviously, there's a 15% off right now if you use the code RichDad. Just go to limitlessexpo.com and you get a 15% off with RichDad. Just type in that code. But Robert, this event in my 4 years is probably the most important.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a new administration, you got a new tax bill, you got these tariffs pending. We're on the beginning of this. I think we're already in a recession, but they got to call it at some point. We got inflation coming. And so the question is, what can you do? Because there are moves you can make, right? So the people coming they know this. They know that they can control what they do next.
Correct.
And that's actually the whole point, right? Get in the right rooms.
Well, the reason I go to Limitless, because I want to see over the horizon. I want to see what's coming. And the Luddites are the people who are upset with AI and all this stuff and going, hey, face it, AI is going to replace you anyway. Oh, they're going to. Do you know Kathy, whatever her name? She's really a pretty smart woman. She says, AI is going to destroy Apple. I went, what? And she says, because Apple didn't keep up.
Interesting.
And then she says, who's going to kick ass is Tesla. Because Musk is way down the road with AI and driverless cars. The riots in LA, they're burning the Waymo cars because the batteries run hot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They don't burn gas powered cars now. They just burn the electric cars. But anyways, woman Kathy, I forget, she's a really smart woman. But she says AI is going to destroy Apple, but it's going to build Tesla. And I went, wow. That's what I mean by looking over the horizon. I'm not saying it's going to happen. We don't give financial advice. We don't tell you what to do with your money. But I come to listen to people who can see things we cannot see. Was that true, Kenny?
Yeah, I got to tell you, in our little collective group, we have a lot of really, really smart people. Yeah. Our mastermind that we do every quarter. There was a guy in there, one of our members, that told me he does his books on QuickBooks and then sends it into, I think it was called Copilot with Microsoft, and it does his financials for him. I go, you're kidding me. He's like, no. He goes, all my stuff's done automatic through AI. You have to set it up. Once it's set up, he goes, I don't need a bookkeeper or an accountant anymore. And then I just give that to my person who's doing my taxes, which is also at risk. So it's really, really interesting how fast things are moving. I know I have a friend that's has a very large PR and advertising agency. He told me last week, he had 160 employees. Now he has 110. I said, well, are you growing? He goes, oh yeah, I'm growing, but I don't need content writers or graphic people anymore because I can get it all done with AI. I was like, wow. Those are all people that I had to have before. So he's embracing it. Not everyone is, by the way. I would say the old guys aren't right? Like guys our age they put their feet in the sand. These young kids are running hard.
Yeah. So that's why Limitless is what's the dates and times and money and all that stuff?
It's July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd. It's limitlessexpo.com. And it's at the Gaylord Texan in Dallas. And we had it there last year, as you know. It's an incredible place to set up for conferences. And we got a couple surprise guests, so we haven't put them up yet. Last year at RFK Jr. come, as you know, we got to interview him. That was a lot of fun.
That was unbelievable. Boy, he is intense, man.
He is. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping you have Fauci and RFK duke it out.
Oh, that would be so good. Good. Yep. Yeah. So, my job is to bring what's relevant today, and I believe we've delivered this year, and it is going to be it's a You need to be in the room this year specifically if you want to make the right moves, because we're going to dig in deep. It's non-political. We're just saying, oh, this is the way it is today. This is the tax bill. This is the tariffs. This is what's going on with inflation. And these are the things that you can do, because it's not just about spouting the news. It's about, what do you do with the information? What do you see over the horizon, and what can you do to stay ahead of it?
Yeah. And that's why you want to be at Limitless. Kenny and I will be there. Kenny and I are studying constantly. I don't know how anybody can not study constantly.
You have to. You told me to buy that book. I bought that book. I went to Europe in May. I read it. I'm reading it a second time. We're literally studying tomorrow chapters 4, 5, and 6 together as a group of about 20 people. There are really, really, really good things in every book, and you have to keep studying because the world is moving fast.
The book we're studying is called The Big Print with Larry Lepard, and he's going to be one of the speakers at Limitless, and he's excited about coming because I guess he and Rickards don't see eye to eye, so that's going to be kind of interesting.
Oh, I know. Listen, you'll love this. He told me that. He goes, yeah, Jim and I don't see eye to eye, so guess what I'm doing? Putting them on the same panel. Of course, that's what I want. I mean, that's actually, that spirit of debate is the best. Like, you need opposing views, right? That's the only way you learn.
Yeah. Well, it's the best way to learn. It's entertainment, but boy, it's active. Keeps your brain firing.
I can't wait. I'm just gonna go. It's gonna be like a UFC fight. I'm gonna ready, go. Yeah. Just let him go at it. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So we'll close out by saying this. The reason I want to go to Limitless, again, what's the dates again, Kenny?
July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd in Dallas, Texas, limitlessexpo.com. And you type in Rich Dad and you'll get 50% off. So tickets are less than $1,000. There'll be 2,000 people. Yeah. If you want to learn from others, be there. Trust me, you're going to want to be there.
You meet some very, very great people. But again, I go to see over the horizon. And I always want to, I don't want to be a Luddite. I don't want to be somebody who's attacking somebody who can see. And when that woman today said, I was listening to her, she says, AI is going to destroy Apple, but make Tesla richer. I went, wow. So that's good for me because I have a lithium mine and I own silver. So the rich will get richer as usual. And the Luddites will just be pissed off because they get fired. And a lot of people are getting fired today. It's terrible.
It is terrible. And it's happening. I'm telling you, the middle class is getting squeezed.
Crushed.
They're getting crushed, right? And there are things that they can do. The one thing they should not do is put their head in the sand.
Yeah. Anyway, my friend, thanks for being a fellow teacher with me for all these years. We've made lots of money together. I'm investing in, for full disclosure, I invest with Kenny every chance I get. And I'm investing with his billboard signs now. Yeah.
Hey, I just got another deal at escrow 2 days ago. Yep. We just put it in escrow from Las Vegas all the way up to Mesquite. The billboard business, baby. No tenants. It's just a flat screen along a road, man, but they cash flow like crazy. Yeah. So that's another business I'm working on. Again, we're doing a niche panel on that in Limitless, not just with billboards, but there are a lot of people making money in these little niches. So that's another way to sit and learn and go, well, why not me?
Right. And the thing I like about billboards is you don't pay any tax if you invest.
Correct. Right. If the bonus depreciation gets kicked back up to 100%, oddly enough, because it's considered equipment. Yeah. You buy a billboard, you get to write it off, even if you finance it.
Yeah. But if you get a high paying job like a doctor, you pay 60%. Oh, I'm glad I went to school. Hey, Kenny, thanks very much, man. I'll see you at Limitless.
Yeah, of course. Good seeing you, Robert.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And we'll be right back with Rich Dad's final word. Welcome back. I want to thank Ken McElroy. He's been my partner for 25 years. We have literally made millions of dollars. We're billions in debt, and we pay no tax legally. So I wrote about, there's a book called Rich Dad's Prophecy. Came out in 2013 after the 2008 crash. In here, I forecast what's going on today. Like I said, the S&P 500 is crashing today. What does that mean? It means the baby boomers like me, my age, their 401ks are toast. And who's going to take care of you when you're 95 years old and you got no money? So that's why you come to Limitless to study, to learn from real people, not those phony financial planners who tell you that bonds are safe. I mean, how in the world can anybody tell you a bond is safe? They're lying to you. It's called the 60-40, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. And the reason gold's going up is because China, Japan, and other central banks are dumping bonds to buy gold. So that's why I'm talking about seeing over the horizon. You come to learn, meet with other great people. It's a very exciting time unless you're a Luddite. And a Luddite is somebody who's going to sit at home and say, well, how can they let the government do that to me? Luddites, they're a part of our culture. A Luddite attacks the very thing they should not be attacking. So once again, it's this Rich Dad Radio Show, Robert Kiyosaki. Thank you again to Kenny McElroy. And trust I'll see you at Limitless in Dallas, Texas. Thank you.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.